All right, this is One Last Midnight, and welcome back to another episode of the Steam Summer Sale. And so it's 48 hours, well, actually less than 48 hours before the summer sale is over. And I wanted to do one last video, and this is a video of games that I've played. Most of the games in the last two videos I've also played. There are some in the AAA games that I haven't played that I want to play. And that's why I listed them in the AAA, because they were great games that were on my wish list. But let's look at games that I have played, and every single one of these on this list are games that I've invested time into. The first up is a series of games. They're action, adventure, kind of puzzle games, and let's take a look at them. There's four of them. I can't tell you much about each one, mainly because I don't want to give the story away. But the first on the list is Hob. Now, Hob is a beautiful action, adventure, puzzle game. It's narratorless, so there's no text, there's no voice in the game telling you the story. You wander around as Hob, and as you unlock stuff, you find out more and more of your story in this kind of like little picturesque, kind of almost like petroglyph style storytelling. It's a very interesting concept. You know, you're going to spend about 15-20 hours in the game. It really depends on how long it's going to take you to figure out some of the puzzles. Beautifully crafted game. It's from the guys that do Torchlight 1 and Torchlight 2, and currently right now it's on sale 20% off at $15.99. Definitely a great value. All right, the next game on my list is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Now this is an epic fairy tale journey of, you know, two brothers that go off and they're trying to cure their father. And it's just an incredibly touching tale of these two brothers. You know, it's a puzzle-based game. Each one of the brothers is gonna have a role in solving one of the puzzles or another. There's things that are gonna happen to the brothers. It's a very endearing tale, and the graphics are beautiful. There are actually specific locations where you can just like take a screenshot. There's like a little lookout points or little scenic views that are just, I mean, they're just incredible graphics and beautiful viewpoints. So definitely check this out. This game is a steal right now. It's 80% off. You can get it for $2.99. You're going to spend about, I think it took me about 15 hours to get through the story, and definitely worth the money for it. I mean, I bought it original price at 15 bucks and I thought it was worth the money. Right now at $2.99, forget about it. Definitely, this is a must buy. The next up on the list is Play Dead's Inside. Now, you know, this game is really hard to describe because you're just a boy. Again, it's narratorless. You kind of just start off and you've got this kind of situation that you're in. Somebody's hunting you. You don't know why. You don't know for what reason. You don't know what's happening at all in this game. And you go through and you start discovering more and more of the story and what's happening. This is a beautiful puzzle, atmospheric, dark kind of game. Definitely challenging at times to complete. Some of the puzzles are a little bit difficult. I spent about maybe 15 to 20 hours in this game. I was streaming it at the time, and I definitely had help solving two of the puzzles. The rest of the puzzles I was able to do on my own, but there are these hidden puzzles in the game that even make it more interesting. And Inside right now is 65% off, and you can get it for $6.99. Really a steal for the amount of time you're going to put into it and for the cost value. Now, Play Dead, this is their second game. And their first game was Limbo. And Limbo is another kind of concept. It's, you know, you're this boy and you're trying to figure out what your sister's fate was. You have no idea what happened to your sister, and you're off and trying to figure it out. Again, very similar story to Inside. You're off on your own. It's narratorless. You're just trying to go through and you're trying to figure it out. This kind of dark little adventure. You can get Limbo right now for 80% off at $1.99. It's a ridiculous price for this game. Really, really great game at a great value. Let's go ahead and look at two board games that I really enjoy playing. The first one up is Armello. Armello is this great kind of grim fairy tale board game concept that you're playing. It's kind of like a card-based game where you're playing these cards. You can equip some cards as like inventory items, either as armor or weapons, or followers, and then you've got other cards that you can play down as attacks and or defense, and you're working your way through the board trying to kill the king. And this is either a single player or a multiplayer game. You can get on, you can challenge people in multiplayer game. Armello is really, it's got this kind of underlying story going on with the cutscenes, but beautiful gameplay, great board game. Definitely worth the value at 50% off, $9.99. Another board game that I like playing a lot is Gremlins Inc. Yeah, it's just this intense strategy game that you're working your way. It's kind of got this like steampunk feel, but you're trying to manage your political power, your prestige, you're saving and investing, you're stealing, you're extorting. It's an interesting board game. Again, it's got some of this card concept where you're playing some cards and you're trying to affect other players by, you know, attacking them or using cards against them. But definitely a very interesting game that you can play either a single player or multiplayer if you want to play against other players. And right now it's 50% off at $7.49. You could get the entire bundle, which has a bunch of add-ons and stuff like that, for a little bit more. But, you know, the base game is going to give you plenty of value. Definitely one that I would recommend. Now let's go ahead and talk about space games. Now, you know, I'm a big fan of Astroneer. And that was one of the very first one in the very first video that I did of the Steam sale, right? It was the first game that I talked about. But let's talk about No Man's Sky. So No Man's Sky came out before Astroneer, and you know, it came out with a bunch of mixed reviews. It came out at $60. I bought into the hype. I did buy it at $60. I was highly disappointed because, you know, what was supposed to be in the game was not in the game. But over time, and it's taken over a year and a half, they have really made some fantastic modification to the game. You know, with the update of Next, which was a huge patch release, and then they've done several other updates since then. They've added to this game and really made it a complete game. It still sells for $60, but right now it's at 50% off at $29.99. And honestly, I don't know if it's worth a $60 game. Maybe it's only because I'm a little bit jaded over the whole No Man's Sky issue. But at $30, $29.99, it's a definite get. I've played this game for over 300 hours, and it's definitely worth getting. The second space game on my list is Elite Dangerous. You know, Elite Dangerous is more of a, you know, space sim. It's different than No Man's Sky and Astroneer. You know, you're trying to really build up your empire, and you know, you're spending a lot of time traveling back and forth to either doing some sort of missions, right? You're doing kill missions, you're doing exploration missions, you're doing selling missions, you're doing that type of stuff, or you're just trading to get money. But it's a huge investment in time. It's a great space simulator open world. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. The graphics updates that they've done recently have really made huge improvements to the world visualizations. You can land on planets, you can drive on planets, you can do all kinds of stuff. If you're into a space simulating game, get Elite Dangerous, because right now it's at 70% off. It's $8.99. It's an absolute steal. You're going to put in hundreds and hundreds of hours in on this game. It's absolutely worth it. You can pick it up and put it down at any time. I've played it on and off for the last couple of years, and you know, it just maintains my save and it maintains my ships, and I just continue on where I left off. Good game, great value. You know, this next game doesn't really have a category. It's more of a card-based game. It's kind of roguelike turn style. It's called Slay the Spire. And you're trying to work your way through 3 different levels of this dungeon to get to the major boss at the end. It's not an easy game. It's a pretty difficult game to start off with. You know, you're building up your deck, you're unlocking these 3 different characters, and you're getting new cards that can be introduced into your deck. But every time you play the game, it's different. You don't know what kind of cards you're going to get presented. You don't know what kind of monster you're going up against, and you don't know the layout of the dungeon. It's a fun little game to play when you just have like a 20-minute window of time or a 10-minute time, because you can quickly get in, try to take on the next monster or go up the next level and get out of the game and then come back to it later. Really, really fun game. It's 50% off right now. It's $12.49. And I definitely think it's worth the value. Its reviews are overwhelmingly positive. All of them. It's current and overall time. It's overwhelmingly positive, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Now, the next group of games kind of fall into the line of, you know, open world and RPG-like kind of games. The first one on the list is 7 Days to Die, and I put it on this list because it's right now, it's ridiculously low. It's at 66% off at $8.49. You're going to get a lot of time into this game. You know, if you like the survivor type game concept, if you like building and you like exploring and you like, you know, the first person shooter concept with some RPG elements into it, 7 Days to Die is for you. It's got, you know, it's still in early access and they're about to release Alpha 18, but they continue to keep improving this game and making it great. It is definitely a great value at 66% off, and if I were you, I would get it now while you can. Another one on the RPG kind of list is Darkest Dungeon. I've played Darkest Dungeon for hours and hours. I mean, it's a fun game. It's a turn-based combat, dark fantasy, kind of gothic style RPG where you're leading a group of characters through a dungeon and you're trying to survive. And what's happening is, as you're going through the dungeon, your characters are getting afflicted with these, oh my god, just horrible psychological afflictions, and it really affects how your character plays and how they react, and very different concept to the roguelike RPG style, but a lot of fun. Right now it's 70% off at $7.49. Definitely worth a look if you haven't looked at it yet, and definitely one of those must buys. I mean, I think that personally, Darkest Dungeon, like, you know, Slay the Spire, is one of those games you can just get in, play for half an hour and get out. It's a nice collection to anybody's library. Another one of those great RPG style game is the Banner Saga. Now, the Banner Saga has 3 different versions to it. You start off with version 1, which is just called the Banner Saga, and then there's Banner Saga 2, Banner Saga 3, which just came out pretty recently. Again, RPG, turn-based strategy game. You're role-playing, you know, a Viking saga where you're making decisions that are affecting your entire, you know, group of people. You have to be really careful about your caravan and feeding them, and man, it's a lot of fun, turn-based strategy, and the series is just phenomenal. But right now, if you want to get the base game, just the base game Banner Saga, it's 80% off at $4.99. If you are looking at getting the whole thing, I believe that you can get like the deluxe pack for like 20 bucks, which gives you all 3 games. But try the Banner Saga out. The Banner Saga is high on everybody's RPG list. It's just a really beautifully crafted game. The last game on my RPG list is Dragon Age Origins. You can get the Ultimate Edition right now, which is Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age Awakening, and there's like 9 other content packs that are in there. It's on sale for 75% off, and it's $7.49. I'm talking literally at least 70 hours worth of gameplay if you wind up playing just the base game, and then on top of it, if you start adding in the DLCs, you're looking at 20 hours each. Really great RPG fantasy, rich story, rich characters, single player game, but a lot of fun. I had a great time with this game. This was my first introduction into the Dragon Age series, and I really got into it. It's a, I don't know what to say, but it's a really intense game, and definitely for under $8, a really great value. Definitely an RPG game that I have on my list and encourage you to play if you're into RPG games. So let's go ahead and talk about driving simulators. So I have 2 driving simulators that I like a lot, so let's go ahead and look at them. American Truck Simulator, it's put out by SCS Software, and they really do a great job at truck simulation. American Truck Simulator, you're driving a truck. You're simulating that whole truck driving empire kind of concept where you're taking your load from one point to the other point, and you're driving through this beautiful scenery, and it happens to be United States scenery, which is really cool because they first started in Europe, and we'll look at that one in a second. Right now, it's on sale for 75% off at $4.99. The mods that are available for this game are stunning. I mean, there's so many mods for both American Truck Simulator and European Truck Simulator that you can keep playing this game forever and not get tired of the content, because there's so many things that are added on there. They keep continuing to expand the United States map. They just recently released Washington. They're working on Utah next. So if you're interested in doing a driving simulator, definitely look at American Truck Simulator. Again, for $5 a steal. We mentioned European Truck Simulator 2. So European Truck Simulator, same concept as American Truck Simulator. You're driving a truck, but this time across Europe, and you're using the European trucks. So remember, you're in Europe, so in some countries you drive on the left-hand side of the road, in other countries you drive on the right-hand side of the road, and just keeping track of that is crazy. But at any rate, again, 75% off, $4.99 for a game that is so heavily modded. You can mod this game forever. There's a mod called Pro Mods, which essentially unlocks all of Europe. We're talking about thousands and thousands of kilometers of actual driving space. And there's just other mods in here that are available for European Truck Simulator 2 that just make the game fantastic. Like realistic, traffic and realistic weather scenarios. Really, really good stuff. If you want to get any one of the driving simulators, it's a steal at $5. Let's round up this list with a little bit of piracy. So, a near and dear to my heart game is Windward. I don't know. This game, it's just one of those games that you get into and you could just play for 15, 20 minutes and get out of the game. What's cool about Windward is it's a multiplayer game. And so you can play it as a single player, or you can get in there with your buddies and you can take on some of these maps and play with your friends. And it gets really intense fighting with these ships. So you're running around. It's an action-packed naval pirate kind of game where you're trying to take over cities and conquer cities and unlock little land areas. When you go to a new land area, the pirates have taken it over and you're trying to reconquer that land for yourself. You quickly get sucked into it. Definitely a must-have. It's 65% off at $3.49, and that's a steal because I put in, I don't know how many hours in this Windward game, but it's got to be at least over 100 and something. The other game that I have on my Pirates list it's just a fun little game. It's Sid Meiers Pirates. It was put out a long time ago. You're a pirate and you're trying to take over the Caribbean seas. And it's just a lot of fun because not only do you have in this game the sea battles that you have like in Windward, but you also have these other little mini games. Like there's a dancing mini game because each town has a governor and there's a governor's daughter that you're trying to make fall in love with you. So there's a dancing little game. There is when you take over ships, there is a sword fighting little mini game. I can't remember all the mini games that are in there, but I remember playing this game for a very, very long time. It's been a while since I've played it, but I remember I had a lot of fun playing this game. And right now it's 75% off. You can get it for $2.50. And it's just one of those games that's put out by Fraxis, put out by Sid Meiers, and it's one of those that if you haven't played it, you've got to try it out. For less than a cup of coffee, it's definitely worth giving it a shot. All right, so that wrapped up my list for games that I've played that are on sale on the Steam Summer Sale 2019. Remember, there's less than 48 hours before this sale completely ends. So if you haven't already, jump in there, find a game that you like and enjoy it, or try one of the games that I suggested. If you happen to like this video, hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.